That looks like black raspberry in that jug to me.
What?
It says black raspberry. That looks like black raspberry.
I'm on to my next one now.
You recycling?
Yeah. I reuse the bottle. Pretty good bottle. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call to order this public meeting of the Board of Johnson County Commissioners on this 14th day of September 2020 at 3:00 p.m. Please pray with us if you would care to, and then we'll stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Would you bow with me for a moment of prayer, please? Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you. Love the wonderful stretch of weather we've had, and looks like we're going to continue here for the next few days. Dear Lord, we got two sheriffs in our county in our presence today, and I just want to take a moment to thank you for the safe charity ride that the sheriff had over the weekend, and I know it started several years ago, and it's been a great success. We just thank you for the safety that you bestowed upon all the riders that day. Lord, I just wanted to say a special thanks to all the employees here at the county, and I got a little something I want to read later, a compliment for it, and we thank you very much for those people that come and serve the county in a variety of capacities. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
One of the few times you'll hear the Pledge of Allegiance continuous without the pauses.
Or at least close.
Close, yeah.
You gotta take a breath in there somewhere. Johnson County Suicide Prevention Coalition courthouse lawn display request. Do you have anyone here for this?
Yeah, I'm actually on Zoom.
Okay.
I don't know if I have video capabilities.
I don't know who is speaking. Okay.
It's Erica Garrity. It says I'm unable to start a video. There we go. There we go. Yes, I'm actually fully remote with my job, so we have to remain home as much as possible. But yes, my name is Erica Garrity, and I am the Systems of Care Coordinator for Johnson County, and I'm also a member of the Suicide Prevention Coalition of Johnson County. Just a little background, we were made aware that there was a such thing as the Suicide Prevention Coalition because we did not have one, and neither did Marion County or any of the donut counties. Every other county in the state had one. So Systems of Care decided that was something we wanted to start to bring about awareness of suicide prevention and education within our county, because our county has been severely impacted by death by suicide. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. And I think something that a lot of people don't recognize is that middle-aged white males are the highest number to die by suicide. Middle-aged white males are 69% of that death by suicide. And so it's something that we really, as the coalition, we want to bring about that awareness. Something that has really started to, I would say, become more aware is that farmers are among the CDC has labeled farming, fishing, and forestry the highest suicide rate of any professional group in the United States. I have a friend of mine that's actually working on a documentary right now called Greener Pastures, and it touches on Midwest farmers dying by suicide. We live in a rural community, so this is something that does impact us. I think it isn't necessarily talked about. It's not in our papers. It's not something you see splashed over the news. And so it's not something that we're really as aware of. So that's what we want to do. We want to bring about that awareness piece. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And so we wanted to do some type of maybe visual on the courthouse lawn. We would like to do it in September, but if we can't, I mean, we are okay to do it in another month. But we would like to do something kind of as a representation. Right now, our suicide data for Johnson County is deaths. We've had 15 to date for 2020. Attempts, we've had 77, and threats, we've had 164. So we would like to show that as a visual. We thought about hearts. We can put them on a stick and put them, you know, on the courthouse lawn. We can have kind of like posters that talk about where do you get help? What are some of those statistics? Because it is kind of a typical thing to think, well, that doesn't impact me, or I don't know anybody who's been impacted by that. And really, truly, everyone has been impacted in some way. So we just want to make sure that people know that they're not alone, and that is something that impacts our community. And then where do we go from here? What type of help is out there? And you know, what are those hotlines? What are those places that they can go in and get an appointment? You know, so we want to have those resources and things present too. So in order to utilize the courthouse lawn, you know, we would need obviously the permission from the commissioner. So that would be our ask today.
Any questions?
I mean, when you get an actual display that you are gonna put up, we'd like to see that. I think you kind of undecided yet.
Well, so, I mean, this is how in the non-for-profit world, we would have to raise the money to get that. And so it was one of those things, do we ask the permission first, or do we go on a big fundraising and then don't get the permission? So we thought, hey, we're going to ask the permission first, and then we would ask for the fundraising, because again, non-for-profit world, we come with $0. So we liked the heart idea. They would be hearts on a stick, you know, just almost like the pinwheels that they do for suicide prevention, only they're hearts. They would not be big. I mean, we're talking, you know, smaller hearts. And then we would have a certain color that would represent the deaths by suicide. We would have a certain color that would represent the attempts, and then a certain color that would represent the threats. So altogether, you're looking at, you know, 200 and about 250 hearts that would be on the courthouse lawn. And then again, we would have signs that would say what each of those hearts represented. And then we could, and we're talking, you know, just like small yard signs, we would have those printed up. But again, we have to seek out donations, and we have to, and just seek out any kind of funds to do that. So it was one of those, do we ask for the permission first to actually to do it, or do we do the fundraising first? So we opted to even see if it was possible before we went out and asked for some of the funding.
We usually,
But we could,
for worthwhile causes, I think we've always been open to it. We just usually like to see something
Right.
solid that you're gonna put out there until all of a sudden the day comes and we go, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing from my standpoint that I would be looking at right now. I mean, it's a very worthwhile cause. Just if you can solidify a little bit on, if you are gonna do the hearts, then I would say do the hearts. And
yeah, and that's what we did. We at first, you know, we don't want to. Pinwheels are something that nationwide that they have used, but I know, you know, with pinwheels we do that for the Child Abuse Prevention Month, and so we don't want to, you know, kind of mix that. We did kind of do some more research, and we did like the heart idea, because, you know, we do want it to show of some, you know, empathy and hope. And so we thought the heart representation and doing a different color to represent each of those three groups would kind of show that impact, and then have like a key, you know, a signage that says, hey, you know, the yellow, you know, hearts are those that were actual deaths. Attempts are purple. Turquoise are the threats. So we would have that, but then also have resources there. We want resources to be present there. We want, you know, there to be that, hey, here's your 1-800 numbers. You know, here are all these, you know, different resources. Here are places within our community that you can go for help. Here are places you can call for a family member. So we wanted it to be along those lines too. But we do have a couple of printing companies that have done some work for us that we were hoping, you know, could assist in that a little bit. And then, you know, again, at non-for-profits, we just have to kind of say, hey, can people pitch in and help? So, so that would be where we would go from there.
I may have missed it earlier, but you mentioned 15 deaths in Johnson County in 2020.
Correct.
So
Correct.
how does the 250 hearts relate to that?
So we would do deaths. So deaths are 15. Attempts, we've had 77 attempts in our county to date. And then threats of suicide. So we're talking, you know, people who are calling 911 saying, I have a gun in my hand and I want to die. They may not follow through with it. They may not actually have made an attempt, but we have that calculated under a threat. And that number is about 164. I was getting, Heath has been great with helping me get data. He's great with, with dispatch. And even as he was emailing me, he emailed me data. And as he was emailing me, he emailed back and said, Erica, add an extra number to that because we have somebody on the phone right now making a threat. So, that is something that we need to show. We need to show that, we've had these threats, but then there was an intervention, obviously, that was beneficial. And so that's what we wanted to show, the threats that, I would get more as we go on, get those updated numbers from Heath. But as I got them, it was 164 threats, 77 attempts, and then we've had 15 deaths.
Did you give us the duration you wanted it up there for?
It could, and again, that would be up to you guys. We could do it just for a day. We could do it for a weekend. We could put it up on a Friday and take it down on a Monday. It is in completely, we are kind of at your mercy on how you would like that done.
I mean, Eric, I think we'd be willing to, I'd make a motion to do it, but we just need to make sure they're down off the courthouse lawn by October 6th or before.
Okay.
Early voting starting there.
Got it. And that's kind of why when we talked to the coalition, we didn't really have specifics because I know with voting coming up and all of that, that's why I thought, this is what we would like to do. And honestly, whatever you guys are willing to let us do, we are grateful for. So, yeah, I can get us maybe even a visual and email it to you all. Once I can get with, I was going to pursue Spotlight strategies, so I can see exactly what it is, it would look like in the size and get that emailed to you. If we do have the approval, and then, if we could have it down, and we would like to do it in September, just because again, it's Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. We're more than happy to do it in November because that is Survivor Month, but we would really, September would be ideal for us.
Is there going to be any kind of event that goes with this, or are you just going to put the hearts up?
If we were just going to put the hearts up, just with everything going on with COVID and restrictions.
Right.
We just thought more of the visual, and then having the signs that offer the resources and the assistance.
Okay. What we're going to do, just so you understand, when we approve this, we'll approve it pending legal, because there's some legal hold harmless things and stuff that Sheena Johnson, the county attorney, will email you about to get you.
Okay.
It shouldn't be anything hard that you can't get done very quickly, but
okay.
And if you're planning on doing it in September, then as long as it's down by October 6th, I would either do it and make sure that it's down by October 6th, or wait till after October. Well, no, because we have voting now. Yeah, we after November. So if you do it in September, would probably be better for you. Otherwise, it would be after the election in November.
Okay.
The sooner the better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just move for approval.
I have a motion and a second to approve as presented. Any further discussion? Pending legal. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So it is approved pending legal, and Sheena, County Attorney Sheena Johnson, will be making contact with you to get you going further.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
Needham Fire Protection District, discussion on board appointments. Needed, wanted? If needed, wanted? Hi.
Afternoon. I'm Larry Jesse. I'm the attorney for Needham Fire District. We've had an ongoing situation out there. For the last couple of years, we've only had 2 members that qualify to be on the board because of the small district that Delbert's in. There's only like 5 or 6 homes. So Delbert contacted me about a week or 2 ago, wanted to approach the commissioners with a solution on a temporary basis. He's a retired gentleman, wants to stay that way, but he offered if we could appoint him for 1 year, maybe during the 2021 calendar year. And for Sheena, we looked at the statute, and there's some discretion, I believe, but it's certainly up to you as the executive branch. That if you only have an even number, of course, you need to have an uneven number, that's the statute, for obvious reasons, and we've been under the two-person for the last couple of years. In there, it says if you only have an even number, that the board can appoint an additional person to come up with 3 is all we're asking for. So that the bottom line is, if you agree, Sheena, and the board would agree that we could appoint somebody from outside that district of where Delbert's at, so we could have a 3-member board instead of just a 2-member. For your determination on that, we're willing to, for Delbert, you certainly can speak to it, but Delbert would request that he would serve for 2021 until maybe all the necessary legal documentation that you might think is necessary. But that's our request, so that we get a 3-member board.
Just to clarify, Mr. Cragen, he lives in the appropriate area.
Yes,
right now,
I do
right?
have, yes.
Just thinking, when you're done
Right.
serving, then you would want to put an at-large person on there. or
Well, if we
something,
could put something in there that commissioners allows us to appoint someone from outside of his district, his township area.
Right, I understand. I think you might have done
Statutorily, are
that.
we able
What's
to,
that?
statutorily, are we able to do
Well,
that?
what the statute says is that within a fire protection district, you have to appoint 1 member from each municipality or township within the district. And if that number is even, then you can add an at-large member. But I think we've had this problem with other fire protection districts where we haven't been able to find people for a similar situation and have resorted to having an at-large member because there's just no interest. So obviously, we can definitely consider it, but I think you've got 2 questions here, and the first is whether you'd like Mr. Cragen to serve, and the second being whether we could change that down the road, which I think we can.
I would be interested in both.
Yeah, I think both. I know Mr. Craig has served on before, he's done a good job. Thank you for coming back, willing to come back.
Okay.
We might even recruit you for longer than a year. He's not nodding yes.
We've had interest from outside the area to add a 3rd member.
Okay, that's great.
Beautiful.
I will say, it looked like, according to our records, that the current term for that vacant position ends at the end of this year. Are you interested in serving for the remainder of 2020?
2021.
You don't want to start until
Yeah.
2021? Okay.
That would give you time for you to do what you need to do, and also the fire department to find someone to take my place.
So you're not asking to be appointed today then, necessarily? To serve for
Consensus
2020?
from us.
I beg your pardon, I have a hearing
Oh,
problem,
I'm sorry.
and my wife tells me I don't listen.
Actually, what you're saying
We
is,
got both.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm familiar with that.
He would accept if the board would consider he to be appointed starting in, say, October 1st, serve out 2020, and then for 1 year of 2021.
yeah, that would make better sense for us to do
Right,
it
yeah.
that way.
Yeah, I think what would be appropriate today then is a motion to appoint Mr. Kagan for the remainder of this year. And then we will address the additional appointment and then maybe the change to the board after that.
Okay.
Want a motion put on that? That's the motion.
Have a motion and a second to do the appointment and then also look into making a change for down the road.
I know Sheena and I talked about this, and there is just a very small district out there that makes it very difficult.
And we have that in some other areas.
Yes,
It's really good.
so we need to kind of look at it.
I appreciate you bringing this forward. I really do. It can help us in all ways. So I have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Again, that was to take the term October 1st through 2021, correct?
Well,
October 1st
to the end of the term, which would be 12/31/20, and then he'll be on your list
Yes.
for next year.
A very short list.
Very short list.
Got it. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Ticket funding request.
Katie was just on there. Is she back on? Or we cut her off?
Is it the same person?
I'm on, but my video, it's not letting me have video.
She's, I can hear her.
Well, hang tight. We'll get you there.
Hi.
Hi. See, we can do it.
All right. I'm here. So I'll just briefly introduce myself. I'm Katie Finley Sparks, and I stepped into the role of Executive Director for Kick It Kids in Crisis Intervention Team back in March of 2020. And so I sent a letter with a packet of information. I don't know if it made its way to all of you or not. Did you guys get that?
Yeah, we got the letter, we got the letter.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, is that the most volume we can get?
Yeah.
I know I'm having a hard time hearing this other wrong.
Hey, Katie, lean up to the mic a little bit, would you please?
Yeah, it's on my computer. Does that make it better if I get closer?
That is.
Yeah, that's a little better.
You just get a close up of my face, I guess.
If you're okay with that, we are.
So, I guess one of the things I realized off the start was that Kick It did not receive any financial support from Johnson County, even though we are a county-based nonprofit that serves only Johnson County. All of our funding has come from private donations or church financial support and fundraisers. We do get some small grants here and there, but not very much. And as we have embraced the pandemic, that has really weighed heavily on our organization with the inability to reach our fundraising efforts, and our church giving is down. And so looking at the need of our community and the services that we provide, my ask is that the commissioners would consider a redistribution of funds that are allocated to other mental health providers as we embrace and take on the cases that we serve in Johnson County for homelessness and at risk of homeless. And I have some data from the IHCDA of the point in time count for homelessness for Region 11, which is where we are at. And just in the January to date, the numbers of homeless individuals and homeless households continues to rise. And I think that will continue to do so as we see the continued ripple effects of COVID on our families.
You may have touched on this, I didn't catch a lot of what you were saying, but your proposed 2021 budget of $753,320.
That is our entire budget. My ask is just that we would get some funding from the county, not necessarily all of that, but we currently get $0 from Johnson County. So I'm just sending you what our organization budget is.
So how much of that $753,320 do you project you're going to have available, not counting the county?
A very small fraction of that, sir.
What'd you say?
Very small fraction of that. A very small fraction of that.
So the way you're structured right now, you don't have projected 2021 revenues for more than half of the 753?
Well, like I said, when I came on board in March, the current budget is funded through private donations, charitable giving from churches, and fundraisers. And COVID has pretty much eliminated all fundraising efforts that Kick It has done. And so looking at it, trying to plan for the future, we can apply for grants through MIBOR and Anthem Foundation, but those are, $10,000, $15,000 grants. To date, just since COVID hit, we are missing $75,000 of our fundraising budget of fundraising money that we haven't been able to get. So the budget I gave you is what our budget operates on. And I don't know what that looks like with the changes that we've experienced from COVID.
It would help me to or at least put me in a better position to try to help you or your organization. If I could see your current financial information in as much as your 2020, we'll say budget revenues and expenses, so we'd have a comparison there compared to what you're asking for in 2021. So I'm a little bit, I guess, confused in as much as it looks like you got 1, 2, 3, 4 full-time people at least budgeted for 2021. And I don't know about the hourly employees, whether they're full-time, part-time, or how you got those structured. But do you have those 4 full-time people on staff right now?
Yes.
What'd she say?
And our part-time
At that salary
employees,
level? At the
I'm
proposed salary level?
that is proposed salary level. The,
Is that what they're making right now, is what he's asking?
that is what is on our budget for 2021. That's not what they're making right now. What we're making now is the 2018 to 2020 budget. And the file,
To maybe expedite the whole process here, if you could provide us with some historical financial information, that would help me tremendously in trying to see what we could do or can't do as far as helping you with your funding going forward.
what historical information do you want? Like our programming dollars, the amount of money we spend on programming?
Assuming, every year you've had X number of dollars in revenue, and then you had a like amount or comparable amount in expenses, and we're leaving you with either a net profit or net loss or a break even. And so if we could just see that maybe for the last couple of years to see what kind of revenues you've been generating to you, how you spent those dollars, and then maybe even use that to evaluate a projection going forward as to what might be anticipated, a real need for 2021, kind of like what you outlined here.
Would it work better if you met with Katie in person and went through some of this stuff?
I could do that. We could, somehow I need to get that information and be able to disseminate it to the other commissioners.
And I think, and how many people that served,
Yeah.
what that accomplished in that, I mean,
And I can give you that. And I can give you the numbers of people served and what those program dollars go to for client expenses and stuff.
and I think that's what Commissioner West is saying, that information like that, and if he's willing to sit down with you or
Yeah,
agree
we have
with
to
you on
do.
that, then that would get the project started.
And what's the best way to go about setting up that?
You had to talk real loud the first time. You started with
Like I'm talking to my kids.
We're not faking you on that, he is hard here. He's hard headed too.
Sheena, do you have our contact information?
I think so. Katie, is it Kick number 4 youth? Is that the correct one? Okay.
Yes, yep.
Then, I will try to get the two of you in touch. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll just contact you and set up a time to meet that's convenient for you.
okay, sounds good.
Yeah, all right, thank you very much.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that your little girl that was with you a while ago?
Yeah, I came home, so she's bugging over my shoulder and the 2 boys are outside, so.
Well, that's working at home.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Okay, assessor, Pictometry International Corporation, amendment number 3.
My favorite assessor.
I only want to know. Mark Alexander, Johnson County Assessor. Get my letter?
We did.
Yeah.
This is to an amendment or an addendum to the current agreement which we signed in 2016. That was to get aerial images every year. And we asked them, because we're not sending people out unless we absolutely necessary, if they could cover 140 miles that we had formerly just gotten at the community level, which is high level aerial images, to change it to the neighborhood level. And they came back with an offer to do that. And then I talked to Brian about, well, one of the counties has already turned this in, that's been approved for their images. They never had images every year, and they got it to be paid or qualified as COVID related. So, but we're not in that situation. We have a flight every year, but we had to modify it or chose to modify it to cover the 140 square miles that we used to go out on new construction and anything that we needed to do to
And if
verify.
we maintain that that isn't covered under CARES Act, does anybody, we haven't run that through anybody to see if that is covered. under
Well,
CARES Act.
in reading what the COVID said was, if you have an existing contract, which we do, that covers this aerial image that's gonna be taken in November, then it's not a new COVID-related expense. But
I would disagree with
the
that.
modification to change it to the 140 square miles that we wanted at the neighborhood level, that is,
The add-on,
yes, the add-on.
and we would need that information. I don't know if anybody's got with you on how that works, Mark, but we need to get a letter to the state and have them give us approval on that ahead of time.
Right.
And then we don't have to guess anymore. That we can get all that taken care of, and it takes a couple days.
Right.
If you can just get that information to Stephanie Seasteen.
I have,
Okay.
yeah, and that's,
I don't see that not going through at all.
no,
That's very-
that part of it, yes,
Is it separated out in the contract as a different line item?
yes.
Okay.
And when we told the vendor, because of the way that COVID-related expenses occurs, you have to bill that out this calendar year. So that's included in this amendment.
So then somewhere in the invoice, of course, it would have to mention COVID,
Okay.
which, like I said, Stephanie can guide you.
Sure.
Do that. She's been working on all that, so we can do that, no problem.
And then I asked them being pictometry, we have this every year, and we've done this in the past when we did it in 16, it locks in their price no matter what changes are in fuel costs or anything related to what they're offering. And we want to extend it, include it in this amendment to get flight 21, 22, 23, and 24. And at the fixed price that they offered to do it now. So that's included in this amendment also.
Mark, do we cost share with Marion County anymore on that?
Marion County offers what they do to Eagle View. And Eagle View, anything that any of our adjoining counties have done, Eagle View gets for us, and we put it on our GIS. Yeah.
So you still got that?
There's no expense to that. That's one of the things that our vendor supplies us. And yeah, if you ever have questions about Beacon, more and more, they keep track. Of course, Schneider does. We're getting a lot of users on that. A lot of people are trained to use it now. You can do comparable market analysis and put in your house, that's the subject, and then you just hit the comp feature and it'll pull up comparables 2 years in your neighborhood.
It's getting used like crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's free quality control for us.
I'd move for approval pending legal.
Good job. Did you get a second? Good. Motion and second pending legal. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to say, Mark, thanks for looking at this and looking down the road a few years to lock this in.
Okay, well, thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. WIC grant application. Wipe down first.
I'm here. Hello.
Oh, hang on just a second. We'll get.
Okay. Hi.
A little bit ago, I saw you walk through.
I had to turn in some claims today and then get back to the office and do some appointments.
Get out of Dodge. Right?
Yeah, well, you're not that far away. Obviously, I'm here today for my fiscal year 21 budget that we're requesting for this next year, which starts, our budget is a federal fiscal year, which is starts in October to October.
Move to approve.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Oh, yes, Tracy Smith, Johnson County WIC Coordinator.
Let's have a motion. I have a second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
You too.
See you.
Fascia. Approval of new program rep website.
Lauren Reinerson, Bossia. We are asking for approval for the new program website, Serve Johnson County. This will be available for organizations in Johnson County that have a volunteer need. The program will also host community volunteers and what is available to their passion or their need. The program will then become a matchmaker, and then the volunteer will be matched with the program that has the volunteer need for them. Bossia is operated by volunteers, so this will be an asset to us.
Move approved.
Second.
Have a motion second. I don't see any legal on this, so we're clear. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Community Corrections Juvenile Division Agreement with the University of Indianapolis.
Good afternoon. My name is Damon Cox, Assistant Director for Juvenile Community Corrections.
He just hopping out. Did he say it?
Yes.
Yes.
We're good.
Are we good?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good for approval.
Okay.
Second or first or whatever you want to go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do
I'll do a motion here, second there. And a motion by Commissioner West, second by Commissioner Walls. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You snuck in on us, now you can sneak out.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Teresa.
Recorder. I'm almost afraid to say it. Indicom. It's got that com, oh,
Yep. Teresa Petro, County Recorder. The agreement with Indicom is just an amendment. They want to start ACHing, and instead of sending us a check, we record so much that we can't keep up, so. It was pending legal last time I knew, so.
You guys get, so she got it cleaned up. I move for approval.
Second.
have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am. Highway Department. Recommendation for approval of Fit at the Farm 5K special event in Pleasant Township. We would require a hold harmless agreement and insurance certificate. We get all these little red notes that we have to pay attention to. I do.
They're not mine, I don't think.
You need to change the color once in a while, but go that green.
I like red.
Well,
I like red. It shows up.
I'm kind of getting used to the red.
Commissioner Barrett saw red a lot when he was in school.
I did. Saw red a lot about an hour ago.
Luke Massey, Highway Director. Yes, as you just mentioned, we're asking for your approval of the Fit at the Farm 5K special event permit. The event is on October 3rd. Will result in the closure of a small portion of County Road 250 East in Pleasant Township for about an hour. This is a repeat event. This is, I believe, the second year for the event. We received no complaints or concerns from last year.
I guess all agencies, Sheriff's Department, first responders, ambulance, all's good.
Everybody's been notified and has given their approval in whatever form or fashion.
I would move for approval, just need hold harmless and certificate of insurance.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next.
Next item is the approval and execution of the construction plan title sheet for our Fairview Road and Peterman Road intersection improvement project. This project is currently scheduled to let in the first part of 2021. We were hoping that it receives funding to be constructed in the summer of 2021. However, it may end up getting delayed if there's not enough money available in that fiscal year. But the plan plans are almost complete. Right-of-way acquisition is almost complete. Utilities have already started relocating, so things are moving along.
How much would this impact us, Luke, budget-wise, if it gets pushed a year? I mean, what cost increase are we possibly looking at?
But honestly, it probably wouldn't be a significant percentage, but I do see there being an increase. The last couple of years, just with the influx of additional fuel tax revenue, has kind of created a shortage in available contractors, it seems. So we're seeing prices go up. We were actually very fortunate in our hot mix overlay program bid this year that we received a low bid. I was not expecting that at all. What I'm getting at is that we could see a small increase due to material price increases, but it's not going to be anything like the bigger increases that we've seen in costs in the last 2 or 3 years.
I think our costs are probably going up pretty good right now. Due to everything's going on.
Yeah, they are. We sent out, for example, a quote to have some striping done here by the end of the year and received no quotes back. And we sent them out this summer, plenty early enough normally to have gotten quotes from everyone that we sent it to. So COVID coupled with already being a shortage or an influx of additional projects due to revenue has caused some increases. But those, again, those big jumps, those big increases, barring something happening in 2021 being worse than 2020, that there shouldn't be a huge increase going into next year. Hopefully.
Okay. I move for approval.
Second. I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item is our recommendation to approve and execute an interlocal agreement with the city of Franklin for the paving of Graham Road. Franklin had a project scheduled to pave Graham between Arvin Drive and Commerce Drive. However, there's a short section of Graham that is still on our road inventory, about a 400 or 450 foot section, I believe. So it made sense to go ahead and have the city's contractor just go ahead and do our portion while they were out there. I did consider, just to try to save costs, us going out and doing it later, but you get a lot nicer finished product, especially on such a short stretch like that it made sense to just go ahead and do it.
Move for approval. Second. Is there any way we can, what's with this 400 feet, Luke? Is there any way to relinquish that to the city of Franklin?
So we have some of these areas. We've had several in Greenwood over the years and a few in Franklin as well. After 1996, any annexation that was done had to take the adjacent road to the property being annexed. But before 1996, that was not a requirement. So it was possible for a city or a town to do an annexation. They didn't have to take the road, they could just take the property. And that's how you end up with these kind of hit and miss squares or sections all around. They're really they're a leftover problem from before that statute was changed in 1996.
How many of these anomalies do we get?
Not as many as we used to. NDOT kind of went through a few years ago as they updated the road inventory and GIS and made some corrections and kind of moved some of these over. Whether or not they were supposed to do that is a different story, but I think everyone's been okay that they did that. So we used to have a lot, like 20 some of these. We probably have 10 or less at this point, but we do still have some.
Have a motion and second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, sir.
Next item is execution of a sub-consultant acknowledgement form for construction inspection services on our Bridge 96 replacement project. This projects located on Franklin Road and currently under construction. The reason for this acknowledgement form is that the selected consultant for inspection was not able to utilize the DBE subconsultant that they had previously identified in their proposal. They've got to use a different DBE. So this form is essentially our county's acknowledgement and acceptance of the use of a different DBE subconsultant than the one that was originally proposed.
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, sir.
Next item is approval and execution of the road transfer memorandum of agreement with NDOT for Interstate 69. As we've talked at a few previous meetings, we've been bringing essentially steps to you for approval that build up to this ultimate document, the agreement. So this covers essentially what the county's maintenance responsibilities are for improvements that we requested at the interchanges. In addition to that, this covers the new roads that are being built along I-69 that the county would essentially take over maintenance for those roads that are necessitated by the interstate project.
Those be like connector roads?
Frontage roads, yes. So in some places, like particularly on the west side of the interstate, they're connecting sections of road that were already there, the old 37 sections. Those would be covered.
I'm going to move for approval pending legal, and we'll clarify a couple things. Indemnification on this and the right of way is still yet to be worked out. That I'd ask for a full approval, just pending those two items on this maintenance agreement.
Second. Are they calling Old State Road 37 Huggin Hollow Road?
We're calling it Ron West Boulevard.
Yeah, it's on the west side, so we thought West Boulevard was fine. It will remain Old 37, well, okay, sorry, let me back up a second. It will not be Huggin Hollow Road. Old 37 enters into State Road 144 in Morgan County, not in Johnson County. So the actual Old 37 intersection is in Morgan County. Huggin Hollow is the short section of road that runs down by the gas station, and then it comes into Old 37 at an angle. So it's actually a separate road.
Okay. Well, I was looking at some of the prints that you emailed us. I couldn't determine whether they was making Old 37 through Passport Wall up there. I didn't know how they were doing on that.
Yeah, they're not actually moving the real old 37, just Huggin Hollow, which is a separate road right now.
And then I was looking at on Smith Valley Road, they showed at one time 4-lane, and then one time they were showing Smith Valley 2-lane. Were they just showing you two different options, or what?
So Smith Valley Road, at the intersection of Mullenix Road and West, will be essentially a 4-lane road. So Mullenix will be like a 2-lane roundabout. Now, it's not, as you go west of Mullenix and you start to go over the overpass, it's not like a typical 4-lane road, because those lanes start splitting off to get on or off the interstate. So it's not your typical road that you're used to seeing. East of Mullenix Road is where they're doing the transition from 4 lanes back to our existing 2-lane section of Smith Valley, which is nice because essentially when we're ready to do Smith Valley Road, we don't have to do any work to the Mullenix Road intersection. We can just tie into the 4-lane section that NDOT is building as part of that interchange.
We can inundate you with info from this.
Oh, yeah, I was just looking through it. I wasn't sure how they were, what they were doing there. But
Essentially, they've given us a very good and easy point when we're ready to do our widening of Smith Valley Road to tie into the work that they're doing. east of Walnut Trail.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Luke. Thank
She
you
is
for
going to
that.
wipe down the podium now.
She's on it. You touched way too many places, Luke.
Really did.
Try to keep your hands in your pockets or
She did that before COVID, though.
she's gonna spaz on us. Acceptance of lowest quote for a project pursuant to IC 36-1-12-5 sneeze guards.
Okay, so we solicited 3 quotes for this project. Carpentry Plus did not respond. We also received a quote from Duke Commercial for $41,500, and the low quote was from CKV Finished Products for $38,213.
Didn't touch it enough the first time?
Put my mask up here.
You should have told her to spray it down.
What was the last quote? I didn't catch that shit.
The low quote was from CKV Finished Products for $38,213.
They did it original. Did they not?
Yes, they did.
Original, did they not?
Yes.
What'd you say?
You've got a motion over here.
Second.
Lowest bid. Have a motion, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Payroll tax deferral discussion. You want to bring that forward, or do you want to
Do you
just
have any
discuss?
questions about it?
I don't.
I don't want to do it.
Okay, well, essentially,
You might
just
explain it
briefly,
first.
there was an executive order signed by President Trump early in August that, we've interpreted it as an option for deferring payroll tax for employees. So it's just a deferral right now. I think it's unlikely that it would be waived outright. I think that requires congressional support, and I don't think that it's there. So, the deferral would just mean that the employees would have to pay it back at the beginning of next year. And so I don't think that we feel that it would be beneficial for the employees long-term. Our financial vendor, Lau, has recommended that we don't do it, and that's legal when you do.
The only reservation I would have in that is if Congress ever decides to do anything positive at some point here in the next couple of weeks or whenever, they might opt to not have that tax collected next year. In other words, it'd be forgiven. And I'd hate to think that we didn't take advantage of the deferral only to see it forgiven and everybody else paid up with it, so.
Yeah, I understand that, that comment. It's totally speculative, and we only have the information that we have now, you know how Congress is.
And the work that they would create to do it to start with, and then if it didn't come to fruition, they're still gonna have to pay it back the first year anyway. I just don't see them doing that at this point in time.
I wouldn't be surprised, though,
I'm not saying.
because everybody else is gonna be faced with the same thing we're facing here, in as much as the accounting that goes into it, amount of work, payroll adjustments and all of that. But
It is logistically,
Nightmare.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, logistically, it would be very difficult to do it and do it accurately. It would almost, in my opinion, it would almost require someone from hired from an outside source to help with that. So,
does anybody know whether the repayment of it would be in one lump sum, or would that be deductible from any returns you might have if you have a refund
I
coming?
think it has to be paid in the first quarter. I'm not certain. I think it has to be paid back in the first quarter.
In the first quarter?
I think so.
So if you had a refund coming, I guess they could take it out of that, put the onus on the government to do that?
I don't know.
there's a lot more questions, obviously, that we have in regard to answers on this thing.
That's why we're having a discussion.
Yeah,
Just,
well, not charging it or not taking that tax out is pretty easy. You just zero that line item, I guess, in the system, but
You
where
gotta
it
track
gets
it.
difficult is going in next year and have to recalculate.
Right, and it's one thing if the employees, stay here through the next quarter. If they
Yeah.
don't, then, you track them down and figure out how to refund it that way as well.
Well, it'd
so,
still be their liability.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
the other
it's
thing too, is
complicated.
if that liability falls on them and not on the employer, that takes the work out of it. That's the other aspect. So I guess we don't know that either, do we?
There's a lot, I think, we don't know on this.
Yeah.
The guidance was incredibly brief.
Yeah.
For a change like this. It's like a page and a half. from the
is
department.
this something, if we don't make a decision today, it's gonna kill us?
Not, go ahead. Kim.
Well, it just started in September, correct?
Right, September 1st was the first day, and they gave us the guides on August 28th,
Yeah.
so.
So it does require governing body decision one way or the other to do it or not to do it, so I don't know.
I mean, is there specific information that you think exists that we could find that would help you make that decision, or is it
That's
just?
what Commissioner West was saying, is there any more information that we can get? If there's not, then I'd say we don't do it at this point in time. If there's more information out there that we think we can get, then I'd be okay with waiting, but I don't see it.
Well, we can research it further, but we still won't have a crystal ball as far as, what Congress may or may not do with forgiveness next year.
I think we're gonna see a lot of non-forgiveness is what we're gonna see, more than forgiveness. Especially with all the monies they're giving to the businesses and things under these loans, these PPP loans. I think you're gonna see a lot of that turn into loans that are low rate, low interest rate loans, but they're not gonna be forgiven, they're gonna be loans. I don't know how they cannot.
I will tell you this, I did reach out to the other 91 counties. And of all of those that responded to me, none were doing
I can understand why, it's taking too much of a risk that it's not gonna happen.
And then, reading this again, the financial program for, Lao Associates, they say in the event that the employee does not repay the deferred tax because they were terminated, it is Lao's understanding is the employer becomes responsible for repaying the deferred taxes.
There's
What's
your
wrong?
sign.
So it becomes
I
our
didn't make the
problem.
rules.
There's your
Just
sign.
reading it.
That's Lyle's assumption.
Mhm.
I don't know why it would be the employer's responsibility. It's almost akin to having an employee who takes 5 exemptions. He's only really got 1, but he takes 5. Employer does the payroll based on that. And at some point, if the discrepancy between 1 and 5 is discovered, that employee has to pay the tax. to the
Well,
employer.
you're gonna have matching funds, I would think, and some of that from the employer, correct? Yeah, so there's gonna be some responsibility to the employer there, because there's some matching funds there that would be done.
Well, there's no matching fund on the income tax. That part, we only match on FICA.
That's what it is.
Huh?
That's what this is.
It's just all FICA?
I don't think it's anything to do with income tax.
No,
It's
it's
just
all-
payroll.
It's just all FICA?
Yeah,
I think
No
so.
federal income tax?
so I'm saying you're gonna have restrictions on both sides.
They were
No, no, no,
forgiven as the federal income tax.
Says the deferral applies to the employer portion of the old age survivors and disability insurance tax.
We're like, there goes our social
Oh.
security.
I'm like, is somebody no more?
Well, if it's
That-
FICA, we'd still have to pay our portion. They'd still individually be responsible for theirs.
Possibly,
I don't know.
we are talking federal government.
We need a vote, I guess we need a motion on this, so.
I think it would help out your auditor to have official action taken.
I would say we don't do anything with it, it's like the way it is right now. Defer.
Yeah, I would go with that based on the limited amount of information we have, and I guess if we found out down the road that there was some positive aspects to it, we could revisit it.
I assume it could be written up anyway.
Yeah.
So, as they do everything that comes down the road. You got a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ionization, installation, opening of,
I think we have juvenile
oh,
detention.
did I miss something? Oh, yeah.
Austin, forgot Austin.
Yeah,
He's on both of them anyway.
you're gonna do juvenile detention first,
Yeah,
right?
juvenile detention, architectural proposal.
Okay.
I was just wanting to forget that one.
Dan Cartwright, project manager. As you recall, the commissioners hired Attica Design to develop an assessment report, a building envelope assessment report, which we received on 8/14/20, and we paid $2,500 for that, which is a very reasonable price. With that report that we received on 8/14/20,
It says 1,800 on here.
That's the
talking about
portion they're
previous.
doing now.
No.
They've already done the previous.
With that envelope assessment project, assessment that they did, they identified the specific areas that are of concern in the juvenile detention building. And to be honest with you, that juvenile detention building needs a lot of work. So I asked them, I said, okay, can you prioritize these for us as far as risk associated with the building? What's the most important thing? They came back, they said the most important thing is to deal with the exterior brick. And basically the problem with the brick is a lack of control joints, or the existing control joints that are there are so narrow they're not allowing movement, which is causing a failure on the outside wall, specifically on the west side. So we asked them to give us a proposal to do professional services for us for development of some specifications to repair those control joints. Specifically, what they will do is they would develop a written scope of work. They do some building elevations and identify the exact location of where those control joints need to be and what control joints need to be sewed out to a wider width so the building will move then. This is something that they feel pretty critical and needs to get done, and the proposal is for $1,800. And I'm asking for approval of this proposal to Attica Group for $1,800.
It would be from professional services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just want to ask timing on this, Hoss, if they pull this plan together, we get prices, are they still gonna be able to complete this by the end of the year?
No.
Okay,
We can't even start it. We don't have the money.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, this is just
It'd
for
be a spring
professional.
project then.
This is just for professional services. The money
To get it drawn up,
repairs are in the
drawings.
2020 bond.
I'm just curious to see these drawings, because I mean, cutting existing control joints into an existing building, or, you know, where the grip ties, how's it tied back in, where they're gonna cut, there's
It's
a lot of
reasonable.
questions.
And that's the reason why I asked for this professional service contract, because I didn't want to take it upon myself to say, let's just go through here and start cutting.
This will give us the details to show, this will get us into what we're gonna have to do when we get, when the bond gets.
I know that wall's been screwed up for a while. so-
This will develop bid documents for us, basically, and then we can, whenever you guys say, go get bids,
It's money
be in
well
position
spent.
to do that.
Yeah, all right.
We're definitely need it. Have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ionization installation, opening of the yachts.
The first one is from Edwards Electrical and Mechanical from Indianapolis. Their quote is $224,979, 224,979.00. Next one is from Irish Mechanical from Indianapolis. $284,500, 284,500.00. Okay. The last one is from Sexton Mechanical out of Greenwood. Sexton's quote is $336,000, $336,000, 336,000.00. Thanks.
I would recommend that we do those two, our project manager, and we want to do it for them and make sure everything's there and then come back to the recommendation.
Okay, I would request that Mr. Cartwright review these bids and come back to us with a recommendation at our next meeting.
Yes, sir.
Are you saying review and then come back to the next meeting for the actual award? Is there any way we can go ahead and approve the award based on legal and my review? Time is of the essence, that's the reason I'm asking you.
It's up to the contract, so.
We can pull a special meeting, I think.
Yeah.
We'll pull a special.
Okay.
I mean, I understand your urgency, but still we need to do this right.
Yeah, we've got the equipment ordered, so we need to get the installation.
We've got a lot of equipment here already.
I agree, we can pull a special meeting as soon as first next week. We'll
Do this week, huh?
into this week. You just get back with us as soon as you can, or get back to she and she can put it together.
Make sure it's apples to apples.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a motion. Let him take a look at them. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
You want to know anything about the courthouse before I sit down?
No.
Okay.
It looks good. I've got a lot of compliments from the public. It looks good.
Well, let me say that basically,
We're charging by the
there's only a
day.
couple days left and the whole roof will be cleaned out. There's another crane coming in tomorrow to actually remove the beams, the big beams that are on the roof, all the scaffolding's off, it's cleaned up. And probably by the end of.
Pulleys up.
If they're not, they're gonna be up. They're waiting for the crane. I don't know if the
We
crane.
need to just make sure they don't forget about
It
that.
will-
before they
it will
pull out
be
the parking
done.
lot.
There's a whole lot of cleanup to do up on the roof. We gotta go around, I wanna physically inspect all the rubber roof to see how much, if there's any damage, obvious damages, so they can be repaired. Hopefully by the end of this week, the stair tile will start coming down. And in 2 weeks, the whole place will be cleaned up.
And we need to make sure we get that parking lot cleaned up too, that right there, because I've already had people wondering if that's gonna get back to normal about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be back to normal in the next couple of weeks.
I understand that, but I just had to say it.
There's a little bit of painting you have to do, like behind the stair tire, the white has not been painted yet because the stair tire is in the white, but there's some stuff like that.
Looks good.
It's mostly cleanup right now.
And Mayor and I talked about this, we get the South Street opened up coming from that, and town's gonna look gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
And it's gonna really look good. It looked good before.
It looks pretty cool when you come down Main Street from the north end.
It pops
Really-
now.
Yeah,
It
That
does.
is absolutely best thing we've done in a while.
thank you.
And we saw the family in the tree, right? Did you guys get that? Did I get that to you?
I saw it on Facebook.
The skeleton.
Yeah, the,
Well, I don't take Facebook, so I don't subscribe to that.
You're not cool.
I'm not cool.
I'll forward those pictures on to you, the family. that's
Oh, I
living in
saw,
the-
yeah, okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, I drove by there the other evening. I saw it a couple
It
times.
started out with one, now there's.
I gotta be the guy with the flag.
And now there's three.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Could be, I don't know.
somebody needs something to do. Any claims, you know, this.
Well, I got a couple, one for the sheriff, I got one for the sheriff.
He's listening.
Yeah, Axon Enterprises,
He's on his chair though.
$93,528. It was for maintenance.
That's the body cams, the body cam storage and the takers.
Okay, well, it was under maintenance. That's what confused me.
I guess it would be considered maintenance.
Maybe
Just a
so.
story.
And then I got-
All the contract.
And then for courthouse maintenance, Jason, I got two. You had two claims that said asphalt maintenance, one for $6,500 and one for $7,500.
Yeah, for striping and seal coating parking lots. Two different.
Striping and seal coating parking lots.
Striping?
Striping and seal coating.
Oh, okay.
Striping.
That's all I had.
That's every 2 years, right? We do all those?
I do some every year because I don't have enough money to do them all at once.
No, I think
So,
it's hit every 2 years on each, or is it every 3 years?
it's every couple downtown and every couple out west, so.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Any public comment?
I do have, before Betsy, I want to get this in before too many of them leave. I got an email from a Miss Heidi Linder, and her and her husband just moved into Buckmore Estates about 3 months ago or a little less. And they moved from Marion County. And she sent an email saying she was never so pleasantly surprised as when she moved to Johnson County and contacted county government, county employees and elected officials as regarding the positive, helpful, and genuine responses that she received in her homestead filing, getting a permit for a patio and some certain tax questions. And she closed it with this quote, "I wish there was a way to tell the supervisors for those employees with whom I have interacted, they deserve a hug, a raise, an extra day off, or something." So I thought that was a wonderful compliment to the employees of the county, and well recognized in that regard. All right, Vincent.
From right here? Okay.
You can do it from wherever you would like.
Wherever
You
you
can
want.
do it from there if you don't want me to hear,
Oh, well,
or you can come up here.
we gotta talk to you anyway, so, yeah, probably. Okay, Betsy Swearingen, Director of the Health Department. First of all, I just want to tell you that our clinic, our testing site is going well. We've had a few snafus, but for the most part, I think it's working well. We've had some compliments, so that's good news. I know we're going to be looking into some tents. I know Kevin's working on that through Atterbury with us, because inclement weather will be coming and we'll be out there over 35 hours a week. So we'll need a little bit of protection from the elements. And secondly, I was at 2:55 this afternoon. I took a phone call and she wanted me to give you her name. She said you would know who she is, from Elisa Navarro Holt.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay, well, the corner of, or that area of Olive Branch in Morgantown where the construction is going on is extremely dangerous. There's a hole in the road. The heavy equipment won't let anyone through. There's no barriers. And the fire trucks and the ambulances can't get through. So the sheriff was fantastic at the beginning of the meeting and sent somebody out there, but she didn't want to talk to them. She wants to talk to you when you get a chance, okay?
She gonna call me?
She'd like you to call her. I've got
Oh,
her
I'll call
number.
her.
Okay.
Yeah, give me her number.
All right, I'll give you her number.
Yeah, I know Lisa.
So that's my 2 public comments. Any questions about anything? Sorry.
What was the situation again? Fire trucks?
It's under construction, so there's a big hole in the road. And so I don't know if it's down to 1 lane. I haven't been out there, but she wanted me to come on site immediately. And I'm like, it's not really a health department issue, but I will pass it on to the appropriate people.
Did you mention the Luke?
I didn't mention it to Luke, but I mentioned it to the
Hey,
sheriff.
Luke, can you come in a minute?
Or not?
Guy can clear
you might be able to answer them.
Good job. Yay.
Look, Bessie got a call from a lady concerned with a big hole in the road at Morgantown and Olive Branch. I guess there's construction going on.
Nothing that we're doing. I think the sewer project is going on.
Yeah, I think it's a private contractor.
Greenwood Sewer.
Is that part of Greenwoods
City of Greenwood.
Yes.
going up through there? Are they going up Morgantown Road or what?
They're following the creek.
The creek?
Yeah, and the creek runs kind of diagonal through that intersection.
Yeah.
But most of their route in that area follows the creek.
Yeah, okay.
So I told her I was on my way here and she said, great. And like I said, the sheriff sent some deputies up to take a look and she wasn't really interested in talking with them.
And Chief Pale's been out to look at the fire trucks
Oh,
as well.
sure. Forgot to mention that.
Chief Pale Chief Pale was going to the scene to make sure fire trucks could get through.
They were gonna take a fire
Oh,
truck
okay,
through there
I see what
to
you're
make sure it can fit. I do know there was some, and then I guess as she was there, then Center Grove schools the buses were starting to drop off kids, and I guess it's just a big old convoluted mess.
Yeah. All construction projects.
Or a
usually are.
convoluted mess, most everything.
Give me your
is a mess.
number.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy. Thank you, Luke. Anything else? Is someone here for public comment? If not,
Move to adjourn.
motion is second. We're adjourned.